Whenever you're ready, Miss Rowe, go right ahead, man.
Well, hello everybody out there in Facebook land. It's Ro Brady coming at you with the Writer's Wordshop. I need you all to keep our Miss Pat Gadsden in your prayers and Reverend Gadsden. She's in the hospital, so we just want to keep praying and that things will go well for the both of them. So we just keep the show going. So here we are, and I am here talking to my good buddy Queenie Clem. Hey Queenie, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am just fine and dandy. We just got off that phone call with our other literary buddy. We call her affectionately known as Christy May. And tell us about your little book competition that you and our friend Christy have going, because I find it hilarious. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Christy May thinks she's going to beat me by reading the most books. And right now, I think I'm 5 ahead of her.
We've been doing this now for what, like almost 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's funny because I think you have to be like an avid reader to get it. Like
Yes.
books are like, I don't know, they're like living little creatures for us. I keep thinking about, I haven't been able to read anything. I've been so busy, and I keep thinking, man, they're reading all these books. I wish I've been getting into my audibles though.
Yes.
I've been I've been listening to a lot of audibles on my way to work. Right now I am reading or listening to the Davenports.
Oh, I just finished it.
What chapter are you on in the Davenports?
I finished it.
See, I can't even get caught up with you on the Audible. I think I'm on chapter. How many chapters is it?
Oh, I don't know. 44, I think it was.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm only on chapter 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to really get into this book. It's one of those books that I love the details, and I think as a writer, that's one of the things I enjoy about Audibles is that you're not reading the words, but you're feeling the words, if that makes any sense. Like the passages in this book are beautiful passages. I see and especially because I love historical fiction, and this one is written like, oh, I guess what, the late 1900s. So I'm picturing, knowing that style of dress, I'm picturing these glamorous Black women dressed to the nines in these 1900 fashion style, and what life was like for them in this fictitious world. And I see these women, every morning dressed this way, and the conversations that they're having in the book. And that's the part I like about listening to the book. But there is definitely something about holding a book in your hand and turning the pages and smelling the book and feeling the pages. I miss that. I really do. And you guys just wait till this summer. I'm gonna be back in it. Y'all both, you ain't no day. I definitely am gonna give you a run for your money.
Okay, come with it, sister.
Okay, we gonna see. But I know you're an avid reader, but can you tell us, you were just telling me something about this major price cut that you're doing. Can you tell us out there about your promotions?
All right. First of all, I'm Queenie Clem, the literary ambassador, and what I do is I promote indie and self-published authors. Been doing this for over 15 years, and I decided that I really wanted to say thank you to the authors that's been my clients for 15 years. So I have a couple of book promotions that I'm slashing the prices to half off. So I have a 3-for-1 book promotion that was $99. Now it's $49. And that is an author interview, 7-day book blast, and an author or book spotlight. I have a 7-day book blast where I blast your book for 7 days. Or if you have a business, I can blast your business for 7 days. It used to be $49. It is now $24. I also do author interviews for up to an hour, talking about your book and your businesses. Used to be 45, now they're 22. And then I have my 30-day book promotion where I promote your book for 30 days, up to 5 books for 30 days. It used to be $90, now it's $45 for 30 days. Or you could do the 30 days, buy 2 months, get one free for $125.
Wow, Queenie. I feel
Now,
like
I'm sorry.
no.
And that is for the months of April, May, June, and July. And this offer is this Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are interested in any of these half-off book promotions, please, you can email me at felicity@yahoo.com or hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, Miss Queenie Clem, the Literary Ambassador. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Queenie. I do have to share with those of you who are out there who are, I don't know, aspiring writers, entrepreneurs, that Queenie does give great discounts, but she is great to work with. She really is the indie author's best friend. So thank you, Queenie. I really do appreciate all that you do for us indie authors and entrepreneurs. You make us shine, girl. You just make us shine. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
I guess what we could do is we could start off with one of our videos. Reverend Thomas, are you out there?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I am. I also have your poster. Good evening, Miss Queenie.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I can tell you a little bit about the play and then we could do a video.
Yes, ma'am. Why don't we do that? I have your flyer now. There you go.
Oh, okay. Well, Maria Chow and I have been quite busy along with Janet Bixler. Hair Story, which is Maria Chow James's newest choreo poem, which will be out in May with the performances on May 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's a story. It's not really a play. It's a choreo poem. And what a choreo poem is, a series of poems put together to create one flowing story. She is an amazing writer, absolutely amazing every time. And I've read the script, I don't know how many times, but I'm in awe at the power of her words. Last night, the rehearsal was amazing because some of the women in the cast, and you can see them here in this flyer, were starting to share their hair stories as Black women. And we were just, as a Black woman in the whole hair thing, it created this symmetry between all of us, but it made us realize that we all had something in common and that these poems were really pulling us in and really giving us opportunity to share these stories in a different way. And it's exactly what Maria has done. She interviewed a series of women about their hair stories, their hair pains, and their hair trauma. And she pulled them together to create this series of poems and create a choreo poem. And now we have Hair Story. And I get the honor of directing this piece. So I'm really, really excited about it. So if you're out there and you love theater, check us out. So go to Reclaim Artist Collective. You can reach Maria on Facebook and you can also reach her on IG. And I am in those same places. So I am absolutely excited about May. I can't wait to look forward to it.
We're not an hour, a week, or a month. Walk with us as youth and community leaders help shape this message. Speak into your existence is how I redeem my voice and change the narrative. which is a part of my resistance. Allow growth to be persistent by stepping outside of your comfort zone. Let yourself be known. Kings and queens, as we nurture Black excellence from your throne. My name is Jerome. Resilience is our code because history has taught us to walk this road. Fast forward to today, it is in our DNA, it is in our veins, generational pains. We've had to face hard times with a brave face. These are non-traditional heroes. Stages of their journey still leave pages unwritten, room for growth and transition. Putting our best foot forward is like putting ourselves in position to start the ignition. It is our fuel and the air we breathe to persevere, inspire our mentees. The mission, please listen as I continue to unpack this vision of Black excellence. It is our youth, our staff, and our partners, the modern foundation of our truth. It is Lucy Harris and Willie O. Reed, two of many trailblazers. Check out their history. We are not just sports. We're on a journey to change the game through equity and inclusion. Don't you see the fusion? This is not an illusion. This is our voice. This is our journey. Walk with us.
Wow.
I enjoy the organicness of it. Him just being outside, like outside in an apartment complex somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep thinking about how these ordinary things that we see turn into this mixture of creativity, of mixtures of words and phrases. And I'm always amazed when I hear other poets who just take ordinary words and just create these stories. So that excites me. That does. I don't know. Lately, I've been so busy, and then there's certain things that inspire me, but I've been so busy with the play. I haven't written much poetry, but I'm going back to some of the things I have in my little notebook and thinking about what have I done recently. Let's see.
I thought you wrote one last week.
You know what? I did, but it's funny. I can't find it. What were we talking about last week when I wrote that? Oh, wait a minute. I think I found it. I did. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
No,
I remember. I remember you were saying to me, oh, that should be a poem. I was talking about
Oh, yeah, last week when you was on here. Yes.
yeah, I was talking about stories that you hear from your elders. Like I said, I really enjoyed when my Aunt Lucille was alive and my husband and my kids would go off to church on Sundays and it would just be the two of us home alone. And that's when her storytelling would start. And I always said I inherited my mother, my father, and my Aunt Lucille's ability to tell a story. And my husband always says to me, do you ever just stop talking? And I was like, I am the storyteller of the family. You don't want me to stop talking. I want to have great stories for our grandchildren one day. And he always teases me. He's like, he says, and I think men are so different than women because he'll say, tell me what happened. And I'll start this. He was like, no, just tell me the end of the story. And he was like, okay, never mind. You're just gonna, and he'll just sit there going like, okay. And then like, resting his head on his finger, waiting for me to get to the part that's relevant that he needs to hear. He just does that. So, and I think that's what storytellers do. They blend these words and they give you all, it's kind of like, I don't know, like, you have a sandwich and on your sandwich, you could just put, I don't know, you could just put a piece of nice turkey on your sandwich and maybe a piece of cheese. Well, you know what I want? I want the turkey, I want the cheese, I want the lettuce, I want the tomato, I want the gourmet mustard, then I want to have a side of chips and maybe some coleslaw. And then after that, I'd like to have a nice, either a piece of pie or a piece of cake and something delectable to drink. And that's what I think a story is. I think it's all those things. It's just not the sandwich. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to read the poem that I think you helped to inspire last week. And it still doesn't
Thank
have a
you.
title. Help me, then you can help me with the title, but I'm going to read it. I want to die old and empty. Empty like my elders who told the stories of our ancestral past. Empty like the pockets of those who picked cotton and labored for the freedom road. I sit down at their feet and listen to the stories that spill from their lips like pieces of gold falling from treasured ships. The Middle Passage, the motherland. I want to grow old so I too can be the griot who won't let the young forget what lies below the past surface. I want bones that ache from the memories of freedom marches where victory was told. I want eyes that have seen the presence of the Lord. I want to die empty and feel the presence of the elders calling my name. Griot, griot, come tell me your stories. So that was
Yes.
a poem from last week. Just thinking about some of the great stories that my aunt and my mother and my father shared with me, and that's my motivation to keep writing.
Right, right.
Yeah, I know. I wonder where all of our other buddies are. Have you talked to our buddy LaSalle?
No, I have not.
Well, hopefully maybe they'll come on too. And I think that might be our theme for tonight. What motivates you, or if you have a member of your family that has told you a great story that it caused you to want to write and to give voice to whatever they were sharing with you. So I think that's our theme. That's going to be our theme for tonight. I'll share something else. Let me see. What have I got? I'm trying to figure some new things. Here's one. I'm not even sure that I ever finished it, but I'll start it. It's called My Words. My words lie on the end of my tongue like bitter ash, like sweet love juices that drip from their unknown places and rest on the curved spine, causing me to sit erect. My words give birth. My words memorize the sweet deaths of terminal love-struck, lovesick, loveless dreams that have expired from unnatural causes like no money, no hope, and plain no. My words rise, fall, sing, cry out, cry inward to untouched heavens. My words cry the ugly cry in quiet rooms and noisy field spaces where misogynistic, systemic, and political thinking twist themselves into tiny crevices where only, and guess what? I never finished it. It's called My Words. So once again, I think about those things that have motivated me to write. And I don't know what I was motivated when I started that poem, but I never finished it. So
I have to finish it.
I know. I think I finally have enough. Here's what I do. Like when I did, and I don't think, I actually think, Queenie, I sold out of my poetry book.
Whoop, whoop.
I think I have my copy somewhere and I think it's in my car. So I think that's always a good thing to have. I bought Waiting. I bought Surrendered. I had Scarred, and I had my poetry book, and I had 20 copies of each of them. And I
Wow.
think I sold out of all of them. Well, I only have like maybe 2 or 3 copies of each of them left. So
I
I'm
hope
like,
I sell out tomorrow.
oh, that's right. You have an event. Tell us about your event.
Well, here in Greenville, South Carolina, we have Celebrating Black History Upstate Black Book Fair. It's from 2 to 5 in Lyman, South Carolina. And I am so excited to be a vendor for this event.
Didn't you go to that last year?
No, this is something new.
Hmm.
That was the Juneteenth event. And
Oh,
I'll be doing that this year also.
I know. I guess you and I are both be busy tomorrow. I am going to, and I've been doing this one for a couple of years. A lady here who is an AKA, her sorority sponsors the Great African American Read-In, and it's held at one of the local elementary schools here. And she has all the local authors and especially children's books. And she gets so many children's books donated to her organization. And what they do is every child that comes gets a free book. And actually, I think they get more than one free book. They get several free books. And if you are a children's book author, you have the opportunity to share your book with those children. But this year, I'm excited because not only do I get to share my children's book, but I also get to share all of my books. So I'll be a book vendor there tomorrow. And I know,
wow.
I'm praying that things go well for Reverend Gadsden, and I know he's going to be there. And my good buddy Maria's going to be there, and we will have our table signing up for the newsletter. My newsletter is growing. I'm a little bit over 100 people. I think I've got like maybe 150 people on my newsletter. So that was one of my writer's goals, was to grow my newsletter. So I've got to keep going with that. So I have to make another sign-up sheet for tomorrow. And I am going to be sharing my children's book, The Box of Red Marbles, tomorrow. I could bring back, you know who, Miss Queen.
I was just about to ask you, are you gonna bring Miss Marbles out?
Now she used to come to the Great African American Read-In. She hadn't been there since COVID. We actually had a parade one time, and I came as Mrs. Marbles. I don't know if Mrs. Marbles' costume is like, she's been in retirement, and I don't know. I kind of think Henry's in Florida. She ain't seen Henry in a while. I do think he's vacationing.
Wow, Henry in Florida.
Yeah, I do think he's in Florida. Either some little island somewhere drinking one of them little drinks with umbrellas in it. You know that he does travel.
Wow,
Yeah.
here you got it going on here.
I know. I do declare that Henry, he just gets around. Oh, I got to stop talking about, once I break into Mrs. Marbles, it's hard to stop talking about it. Oh gosh, I don't know. So I will be reading from one of my children's books, and I'll be there tomorrow, and I've got flyers for the play. So we'll be busy. And then I think I'm going to come home and actually work on my Kindle Vella story, A Good Church Going Woman. I got to get what episode am I on, Queenie?
21.
I got to do episode 21. Yeah, I don't know what motivated me to write this story. Must have been something I was watching on television. I mean, who writes a story about a 1956 insane asylum that only take colored people? I was like, that one just got pulled out the top of my imagination from somewhere.
And you're talking about children's authors. There's going to be several children authors at the event. I think it's a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Oh, that are children that actually wrote a book.
Yes.
Oh, is Dr. Velma's granddaughter one of them?
Oh no, this event is only for the South Carolina area.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe she had her books there. Oh, that's pretty neat.
Yes.
as an English teacher, I've always encouraged my kids to really realize that the power of writing is an amazing thing. If you can really figure out how to tell a story, and it really doesn't
Yes.
matter how old or how young you are.
Mm-hmm.
So we were working on these personal narratives, and I had told them to share with me about an object that was special to them. And some of the things that I got the kids to write about, you know, they're still working on their writing, but some of them were quite moving. And I thought,
Wow.
look, there was one young lady who says that she really, really wants to, you know, further her writing, and she wants to eventually start writing short stories. So I commented on the bottom of her paper about how this is the start of a great story. Of course, it needs a little molding, but please keep going. So I encourage all you budding authors out there and budding writers, just sit down, either put your pen to paper or either get your computer out and just start. Don't worry
Yes.
don't worry about the editing part. Just sit down and start writing and let the words flow out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I said this summer, I think the book that I wrote, I think almost 4 years ago, I talked to, well, I didn't talk to her, I messaged her last night, your good friend and mine, Denise Walker, who she is editing children's books. Remember you told me to reach out to her?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did. She said she only edits children's books and nonfiction. So she's going to send me a list of editors. But I'm excited for my editor because I wasn't sure she was going to be able to edit my new book because she is busy. She wrote a book now talking about stories. We were just dialoguing back and forth in email, and she was asking me some publishing questions. She wrote a story about letters. And this is for her. She has a doctorate in African American studies. The woman is deep. She wrote her dissertation on the letters that African American soldiers were sending back home. I want to say in World War II. And her dissertation has to do with all these letters. I don't know all the details, but she said she was going to send me a link so I could read it. But
That sounds interesting.
yeah. And she says it's about Black soldiers who were writing letters, and I guess their correspondence back either to their wives or family members. But that's what she did her dissertation on. So I said to her, it sounds like you are into this, you know, really deep and heavy. So I'm praying I have not lost my editor, because she kind of like knows my stories, like, you know, the whole her having a doctorate in African American studies. So I'm hoping, praying that she'll be able to edit Serenity's piece for me. I think I'm going to delve back into it and try to get it up and published. And guess who I would like to run my street team whenever it happens?
Who could that be?
I wonder who that could be. Yeah, tell them about what you did with Dr. Velma's street team when she did her book.
Well, I already read her book, so I was like a beta reader for her. And then she wanted to come up with a street team, someone to help her read her book and try to get reviews for her book. So when the book comes out, everybody will have a review and she can be a #1 bestseller. But it was so much fun promoting her, reading her book, being a beta reader, then turning around, promoting her book. And she did hit bestseller, I think like the third day.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Third day.
I think it's like the third day, third hour, third day. I can't remember. She did hit it, but she kept watching it because, you know, you're supposed to, normally authors watch the list. I think she went to sleep and missed it, but she did hit it.
Oh, wow, wow.
And
Yeah.
it was in contemporary Christian fiction.
She's another person that I really enjoy her books. Um, the oh, what was that? The first one, not the new release, the one that she did that you sent to me. A Place Called
That
Down. Remember a Place
whole place
Called Down?
called Down. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I really enjoyed that one. She has a really unique take on writing about biblical principles and putting them in a way where I don't want to use the term layperson, but like somebody who may not necessarily be looking at scriptures
Right.
will
Mhm.
want to look at scriptures because of the way she writes, because all of her writing intertwines biblical principles. But she writes in that way will grab you like, I want to know more about the Bible. I want to know more about marriage. And I want to know more about how all these things work together with God. So she's another amazing writer. And I just really watched how you helped her with her book. So once I get going, I'm calling you, girl. I'm calling you.
Well, thank you.
Yay!
I'll be ready.
Good, good. I cannot wait. It'll happen this summer when I don't have so much on my plate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I see my camp buddy. Man, I'm so
Hey,
glad you're here.
I
How
got
are you?
I got busy. I was getting all my tax stuff together. You know how you can get carried away with that.
Oh,
I
I
just,
know.
I just stopped. I put it down. I'll finish it up.
Well, yeah, I've been doing that with the taxes. My husband has this, I don't know, I call it, I guess it's just a big blob of mail last weekend. Like, and he'll just stack it up until it's like high. So I said to him, I said, okay, I'm going to go through this. So I immediately threw all the junk mail away, and the
Right.
stack decreased by almost 50%.
Oh
And
my.
then I took them all out of the envelopes, and if it was something he paid online, I shredded it. So now it's this neat little tight little, and I keep saying to him, you must go through what is left, because he's the
Uh-huh.
one who pays all the bills.
Okay.
So he was in Washington this week. So of course there was a whole slew of stuff that came in, and I'm doing the same little thing, and the pile is growing again. I was like, are you going to go through this? I know. And then everything that comes with taxes, we have an envelope that we put it in for taxes, but
Yeah, that's what I do through the year.
yeah, trying to stay organized. But what have you been up to?
Well, I was at the Salvation Army today. They had a stress and mental health class, and that was like 11 to 12:30. I did make it because I had UGI that, they were doing the annual thing for my furnace, and they say between 8 and 12. And I had to even call him and say, is this the right date? He finally came at like 10:40. And
That's always how it happens.
yeah, so he left a little after, he was here for about 45 minutes and I made it. So yeah, that was pretty nice, talking about mental health and stress and how you deal with it, because there's so many people going through stress and mental health, and they fed us a little lunch. So it was pretty nice.
Oh, you go to so many events here in Harrisburg. You're like
I can't keep still.
the social the Harrisburg community social butterfly. It's what I'm gonna call it.
And for this is going on the third week. I had an x-ray last week and they said I had arthritis in my hip. So I've been walking with a cane because it's going down my back, it's going down my leg, but I still can't keep still because walking does hurt. But I had this cane and they put me on this pill. Well, they're going to give me the cortisone shot on Tuesday. I called them today. Can you move it up? Did somebody cancel? No, nobody canceled. So I still got to wait for Tuesday. I said, I still got to deal with this pain. But they put me on this pain pill. And last Sunday, I took one before I went to church. well, by the time I got to church, I mean, my eyes were a little blurry. I couldn't remember nothing. I was doing the thing with Harriet Tubman. I was doing a little skit.
Yeah, I remember you telling us last week.
So I could not memorize anything. So I winged through it because I said, well, I got to get through this. I sort of read the paper more or less, but I got through it. But I said, I took myself off the pill. I said, they're trying to kill me. But anyway, I'm better. I took an ibuprofen. That seems to help a little. Don't give me all that, other after effects. Because now my blood pressure's up.
Oh, so it's like one thing. You ever watch those commercials about medications when they'll say like you want to take I'm exaggerating now, but it's like you want to take a pill because you have a hangnail.
Right.
You're taking the pill for the hangnail, and then they tell you, oh, by the way, we're going to cure your hangnail with this medication. But the medication also may cause your finger to fall off, your elbow. Yeah, like it's this long list of side effects, and most of the side effects are worse than the original issue. I'm like,
said heart attacks, strokes.
Yeah, exactly.
I did have some strange thoughts, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. And I told the girl, I said, I took myself, I'm not taking that pill no more, did all this. And I said, my blood pressure is up. She said, well, I don't think the medicine made your blood pressure go up. Well, it didn't go up till I started taking this medicine. If it can cause heart attack and all this other stuff, how come it can't take my blood pressure up? So, yeah, I mean, things aren't like they used to be. I don't know. They're not thorough enough or something. Because even when I went for the exam at OIP to see about getting a cortisone shot, she said she's going to take my blood pressure. But the blood pressure machine didn't work. So she said, oh, I can't take it. The blood pressure machine don't work. Well, what about getting one out the other rooms? I didn't say nothing. I just said, oh, okay. I mean, I should have told her, well, get one and take my blood, but she never did that. I thought about it afterwards. But anyway, enough about me.
Well, Nan, we're just glad that you're feeling better, and you're looking amazing as always. I said you are just always so glamorous. I bet you that cane you're walking with is all glittered up. Probably all glittered up.
I bought myself a walker, but I bought that when I went to Washington to the African Museum and the Bible Museum, because I knew it was going to be a lot of walking, but that was back earlier. I had a little stiffness, but I knew it's not a lot of places to sit down. So I took it anyway. But anyway, no, I have one in my shed that I sprayed it silver because with the Queens, we did a little act, at our showcases with the walkers. Us old ladies walking in, and, we did a little thing about this musical thing about old ladies and walkers or something. I can't remember it right now, but yeah, so I got one of them in my shed.
Yeah, I told you it had to be all glittered up.
Yeah. Yeah. Where is Brother Nate?
Well, speaking of prayer and getting better and healing and all that, pray for Pat. She's in the hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw her that was last weekend at the event that Reverend Nate had.
Sunday at the museum we were there.
Yeah, and she went back in the hospital. I don't know if she went today or yesterday, but she's there. So we just need to keep her in our prayers that things go well. Yeah, so he called and asked if I would host the show. And Reverend Gadsden, the show must go on. Always so calm. And I said to him, of course. And it was funny because I was so incredibly sleepy when I got home from work. And I thought, I think I just go to bed earlier. But when he calls, he's a very special person to me. And I would, always help him out. He's always been so supportive. Whatever I've done, he's always supported me and given me a platform for my work. So whenever I can help him, always want to be available to do that. So we just need to keep Pat in
Okay.
our prayers that she will get over this little health hump and be
Mm.
back to it all. And there's another lady who is always busy doing something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I really admire you guys because you keep busy, you know. I say when I get to be your age, I want to be that active and I want to be that glamorous. Yeah, because when you told me your age, I thought surely she's just making that up. She can't know. She's making that up. Yeah. So I do admire you in all your activity.
Well, thank you. I feel like I just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. You know, never know if you're not going to wake up or whatever. So
Now, we're not talking about that. You're going to be a long time because you and I got to do that theater camp again sometime again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
or
would be
do
nice.
something. I so enjoyed working with you over the summer. I did. It was
That
fun.
would be nice. I know Jackie's ready.
Oh,
You know,
well, I have to
Jackie,
call her.
yeah, she loves to cook. She just had a soup that she made on her Facebook page. She's always making something. And
I
she has,
know. And
yeah.
she's another very gifted
Yeah.
lady who just does wonders with just you give her a shoestring and she turns it into I don't know what. Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I was talking earlier about working with Maria Child, the play, The Hair Story. So I hope you can make it. It's not until May.
I know,
And-
but that's when I go on my cruise.
Oh,
May 4th.
yeah.
May, it's a 9-day cruise. It's May 4th to the 13th.
Oh,
And
no,
we're
you won't
leaving
make
out
it.
of, yeah,
We'll
we're
be
leaving out of New Jersey. It's a whole busload that's going from Harrisburg. You know,
Wow.
Jesse Alfonso and Connie,
I think so, maybe.
or Millie Robinson.
I think so. Their names sound
Oh,
familiar.
yeah, if you see them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But why
Yeah,
don't we break and have Reverend Thomas show us another video and then
okay.
you could
It's
do
Queen, who's it? Queen Clem?
you know Queenie.
I can't see really good from the picture.
Oh, you've met Queenie before. She hasn't been on a while, but she
Oh,
was on Queenie's Corner.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're ready, Reverend Thomas, whenever you are.
Imagine being chained, placed uncomfortably into a vessel, journeying to a land unknown only to arrive and be owned by someone that looks unfamiliar to you. Could that have been you? Imagine your name being changed, your life rearranged, used and degraded, families created and then separated, counted as 3 out of 5 by way of a compromise. That's 3/5 of a person, 60%, which means they were deemed inadequate, but the fight for freedom they couldn't quit. Could that have been you? Imagine the fear of a noose around your neck or whips across your back, forearms and lower legs bitten from dog attacks. Peaceful protests met with water holes, injured limbs and bloody nose. Sacrifices of the unselfish who had our generations in mind. Many died so we could be fine. Could that have been you? Imagine being that courageous, being that strong, being a force of righteousness to put right to the wrong. Add up the years of freedom. Realize it hasn't been that long ago. From slavery through Jim Crow, we've come this far, but still have far to go.
Well, that was really short. That was good though.
Yeah, it was. And it's funny because it being Black History Month, I had my kids at school do a research project on just a variety of different events that occurred in the 60s, you know, like Little Rock Nine, you know, KKK, all those events that we are all fairly familiar with. And that's what that poem reminded me of. Like, if it were not for the grace of God and those who fought for us, that could be us. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm glad I didn't live in them times.
Yeah. I think back, just about slavery and all that our ancestors went through and thought, wow, God saved me from all of that.
Yeah,
Could have just been like, a switch up a birthday and that could have all been us.
right.
But do you have anything you want to share? Anything you
Um,
working on or something you want to read?
I was sort of looking for my thing that I read at the
Yeah, I missed
I-
it. Do you
yeah,
have that?
I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I don't know where it's at. Somewhere in here, but let me just
Well,
do
you
this
want me
short
to read
thing.
something and then you keep looking for it and then we'll come back.
Well, I'll do this little short thing.
Okay, great.
This it's just like little quotes or quotations or
Okay.
something like that. And it says, say what? The question, say what? When a Christian tells you that they know Christ and asks you to pray for them, share a situation or a problem with them, just pray. They are not asking for your advice or what you would do. Just zip it and pray. Say what? When I was little, mother would tell me, clean behind your ears for dirt. Do you think kids today have dirt behind their ears? Say what? And actually, when we did it, it was dirt behind our ears. I don't know why the dirt got behind our ears, but it was there. And mom would say to me, a hard head makes a soft tail. What? Mom would say, don't touch that stove, it's hot. So you would touch it. Say what? What makes people think they can solve somebody else's problems and can't take care of their own problems? Say what? Ever been around someone that knows everything? They have all the right answers. You can't tell them nothing. So be quiet. Don't argue. Just let them be right, even if they're wrong. Walk away. Peace. Say what? Another thing my mother used to say, stop that crying before I give you something to cry for. Say what? I was writing. I didn't even finish all the say whats. That was just one little things I start writing down. This was in July 28th of 21.
I like it. I like
do
it.
too.
I always like repetitious, the refrain of say what.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one thing I heard, I don't know if I heard this Sunday, it was a quote about Nelson Mandela. He said, it's not I think I might have heard it on TV. It's not our darkness that frightens them. It's our light. You ever hear
Wow.
that?
I have heard of that quote.
Okay.
Yeah.
And while you was reading your poem, I was answering all the questions out loud. I was like, I'm glad I was on mute, but I liked it. I really did. You need to finish it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to, yeah, because there's so many things, as a kid growing up and stuff.
And it's funny how we can all relate to that, because I can remember my mother saying to me, "Are you crying? You want something to cry about?" I don't know how many people have said that, because I remember, Queenie, you, me, Ellen, and I'm not sure Christy was in this because she's only in her 30s, but we were all talking about those famous sayings that every Black mother had. Like, you need something to cry about, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. There was a couple of other ones.
I'm not your little friends,
Yes.
and I ain't got no McDonald's money.
Yes, there was a whole bunch of them that we were like, we all knew them.
And when we get in the store, you better not look at nothing, touch nothing, or ask for nothing.
But nothing.
I could tell she's younger than I am because we didn't have no McDonald's back then. And my mom didn't really take us to the store. I mean, my mom did like days work. every day. And then, cleaning white people's houses and stuff. And she made like $7, no more than $8 a day, and come home and fix a meal or something. We'd have like biscuits and syrup or biscuits and gravy or something like that. But it wasn't no McDonald's.
That was something that I said to my kids, but I agree. I didn't even know anything about fast food as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had gone to a I don't think I've gone to a fast food restaurant until I was like maybe, well, I must have been maybe a sophomore in college before I ever graced the steps of gone inside a fast food restaurant, because it just didn't, when I got there, it was like, oh, what's in here?
We only went on special occasions. That's when we got our report cards and you made good grades. That's when you went. Other
Okay.
than that, we didn't go either.
No, no, not, I remember, yeah, we grew up was fairly, I wouldn't say, you know how you're poor, but you don't even realize you're poor?
Oh, yeah. Those were fun days for us, though, I mean,
Yeah,
was raised in the projects, and we were all, we were all family, like, and it was one lady, Mrs. Smith, and her husband, on my block, they had a TV. We didn't have a TV at first. My sisters got older, and they bought one from Gordon's store downtown on 3rd Street, and you had to put the quarter in it and stuff like that, and it had a lock on it and all that. So we'd be able to go over to their house and watch Mickey Mouse or something like that. Yep. I could see us all sitting around this TV with her kids. Yep, those were the days, playing in the playground, just enjoying, hoping it didn't get dark too soon, because if it got dark, you had to be on the porch.
Well, as soon as them
Yep.
street lights came on, you best be on the porch.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think those are the makings of great stories, because it's like the familiarity of us all being able to say the same thing. We all know the porch street was the signal that you better be on it. It was time to go in the house. And that
Right.
is so funny. Every time I talk to a group of people, our people, to sort of say that we know the same story.
Yeah.
You know, those same stories of what our mother said, of what you needed to do as a child, and the neighborhood you lived in pretty much were the same neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And I always found that to be fascinating. Yeah. But I got another one. I did find something that I call it Words from the Bridge. I was working at St. Stephen's School. I missed that school. I missed the kids. But I remember the mornings of walking across the Walnut Street Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And I met so many different people on my journey across the bridge. And one morning I was walking across the bridge, and it was rather early, and it was still kind of dark. And I could see, in the top of the bridge where the sun was coming up. And you know how you get over the bridge and you're going towards Front Street,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the end of the bridge where there's like a little cement, I don't know, it's like a little cement landing. Well, there was a group of homeless people that were camped out there until it started to really get cold.
Wow.
And they had like like at the end of the bridge, there's an area where the trees start that line the wall, the Front Street. And they had blankets and they had plastic bags trying to keep warm. Well, one morning I was coming across the bridge and I got to the end, and there was this elderly Black gentleman that was just sitting there. And he looked at me and he said, "Good morning, love."
Mm.
And I looked at him and I said, "Good morning, sir." And he said, "Have a great day." He smiled on his face. And I said, "You too." I never saw him again, but he was one of those people that motivated me to write this poem called Good Morning, Love.
Oh.
And can you imagine, like it's probably 6:45 in the morning, and I can't say that he was truly homeless, I don't know for sure, but to sit on the end of a bridge at 6:45 in the morning could possibly be, well, I'm sure it was a pretty lonely place, but he
Uh-huh.
didn't seem lonely. He had this amazing smile, and he said this to me. So it's called Good Morning, Love. His hold on the world is not as elusive as we think. There's a knowing that I see. Those lines he wears gently around his eyes tells me there were days when the bitterness of life did not blow the cold winds of despair, poverty, homelessness, and hunger. I can only imagine the younger version of this stately soul, one where pride strutted itself down the street boldly, and there was no shame or sadness in the line he laid down to all the sweet brown mamas that crossed his path. Another glance, a second thought, and a deep breath only holds those memories loosely in his hands. The strong breeze of hard times, lost wages, and love gone wrong blows them freely from his grasp. He sits on the end of the Black Bridge now, no home, no way of showing his worth, Black, old, homeless, strain on society. These words thrown on the wall like white paint, pictures we don't fully see. Sitting now, bent but not broken, holding onto a Black trash bag, toting his belongings and wares along the darkened streets like broken pieces of Black soul. He smiles, his eyes twinkling like burnt, forgotten ambers that may have once reflected the light of father, brother, or son. He smiles again as our paths cross over the Black footbridge. He whispers these words, "Good morning, love."
That was good.
Thank you.
You think maybe he was there to maybe help the other ones or something that day?
I don't know, but it was just this, I don't know. You know how, like, I always say the city sleeps.
Yeah.
And when I used to walk, and I actually miss it now. When I used to walk across the Walnut Street Bridge, there would only be a couple commuters that were walking at the same time. And it was literally when the city was asleep. I would get to the end of the bridge, and there was always somebody or something that would catch my eye, and particularly the people who were, and I don't really know if they were truly homeless or they, that was their spot during the day.
Yeah.
But there were some individuals who sort of camped out there. And I never saw this gentleman again, but there were a couple that I would see, especially on my way back, because it would be warmer coming back from work than it would be going to work.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I take pictures of very, just things that I see on the sidewalk. So one morning I was walking to work and there was a sandal left there. There was a blanket, and there was like a pair of jean cutoffs, all neatly folded as if somebody was putting them in a drawer.
Oh, wow.
And it just caught my eye because, you're leaving your clothes on the stoop at the end of a bridge, but you neatly folded them and sat them there as though you were putting them in a drawer.
Yeah.
And I have this picture on my phone, and it had motivated me to write a series of poems called either Stories from the Bridge. I never really came up with a formal name for it, but I have a whole bunch of them just about walking across that bridge. I'd get to work and I didn't want, and usually I would be the first one there.
Yeah.
And I would run up to my little cubby and I would grab out my notebook, because if anybody spoke to me and put any other words in my head, I would forget what I was writing.
Right.
I wrote a whole bunch of poems about walking across that bridge. And I wonder now that I'm not walking across the bridge, not that I was any saving grace for any of these people, but where are they now that it got cold, it warmed up, it got cold again? Yeah.
So what year was this? Was this
it was just this year.
Oh, okay.
This was just this year, like when it first started to get cold. I'd walk across the bridge and I would see like, and up further up near going up towards where St. Stephen's is, I'd walk up that way. And there is, I think it's the Mid-Penn building, like, and there's another building where it's the like the headquarters for all local colleges. I don't remember what the name of the building is, but there's a big hedge right at the between these two buildings. And there would be a guy, and he wasn't an elderly guy, he was a younger guy. He probably slept on those steps right there. And he would put all of his belongings in the bag, and then he would shove them inside that hedge during the day and then go get them at night.
Wow.
I thought, wow, we are so blessed.
So you felt safe though?
I don't know, for some reason, it's just like, I would walk, and then my husband was worried because I would leave. I had to be there at 7:30, but I guess it's about a 12 to 15 minute walk from parking on City Island and walking across the bridge to you get Cranberry Street. And he kept saying, you need to find something else, because it's, as it got colder, it got darker earlier.
Right.
So by the time I would leave, it would still be dark and I was walking across the bridge. But I actually miss it because of my opportunities to write about the people of the city and the people that I encountered. But I never felt unsafe.
Oh, okay.
I know. But I don't know. I guess it's just me. Yeah. But I never told him that story about seeing the elderly man on the edge of the bridge. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, people that you encounter really motivate you to write things. Well, we are at 8:03. Reverend Thomas, you want to show us another video?
How dare you be so strong? Woman, black woman, sister, mother of the sun, keeper of the flame, producer of spirits, spirits of the drum sound, feet marching drum spirit sounds, freedom sounds, freedom sounds. How dare you be so strong? You sat on his bus, unlawful and defiant. Woman, black woman, strong, unwilling to compromise your God force, strong. You sat on his bus, defiant of his laws. You were dead to his ways, but you, beautiful and self-assured, were born again, strong. Black woman, how dare you be so strong? And when you sat, a nation called America began to take shape. And when you sat, black men began to shake the ground and mold their hearts into a sphere of common compassion. And when you sat, there was a call to culture and true interdependence. Black woman, how dare you be so strong? You have led us through the dust and mud of the Underground Railroad, and we have followed you, tired and worn, weary of tears and prayers unanswered. Time and time again, we followed you, and God answered us. You were there to push past the profanity, death calls, fist, spit, and human waste that tried to separate us from first-class schools. You were there at segregated lunch counters whose main course of the day was burnt democracy. You were there to plead for the release of your child and your neighbor's child with tears, protest, and resolve. No matter the dreaded hour, black woman, you were there. How dare you be so strong? You were there holding up the sky when black men had taken the best part of you, your heart. They entered into it, captured it, crushed it into pieces, glued it back together with the scar tissue from their backs, then sought to tell you that it was all your fault because you were too hard, too sassy, too cold, too wrong. Weekly, they cursed at you and screamed, "Black woman, how dare you be so strong?" And through it all, you stood tall like an African boa tree, unusually strong, magnificent, permanent, authentic. You stretched forth your hands and opened your arms and embraced him when no one else would, even when he found it hard to love himself. You whispered wisdom words and told him ancient tales of his strength that had been beaten out of his memory. You loved him to life when no one else could. You have led a nation of men back to the earth of their birth. You are the light on a dark trail. You are the chime of the freedom bell. You are the key to the poverty jail. You are strong. Yes, you are strong. How dare you be so strong? God is delighted in you. He saw man alone and then brought forth you. He summoned the angels and proclaimed, "Behold, look," he said, "look what I have done." And you rose up and walked, sashayed and swayed, and the angels knew that God's work was through for the day. We asked, "How dare you be so strong?" But we should have known all along that God just made you that way. Strong black woman, strong black woman. Keep being strong for us. Keep being strong for them. Keep being strong for you. Be our anthem. For you are the faith that the dark past has taught us. You are the hope that the present has brought us. You lead with love, and we love you just the way you are. Look what God has done. Strong black woman. You are a strong, beautiful black woman. And we thank you. Amen.
Yeah, that was nice.
Mhm, mhm. That's one of my favorites of his.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That was good. Didn't you, Reverend Gadsden, make the video for him?
No. You know what, with me singing?
No, I was asking Reverend Gadsden, was it him who made the video?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We
Oh.
made about a half a dozen for him.
Ah,
He asked that that be played tonight, so we're playing that by his
Oh.
request.
yeah, I really enjoyed the video with the pictures. I may have to look you up. I was telling Queenie once I wrote a novel about almost maybe 3.5 years ago about a police brutality case that I think this summer I am going to take a second look at, have it edited again, and go ahead and start a street team. So if I do, I might look you up and see if I could get you to do a video for the book. Yeah. But that reminds me, I have another one. Kind of remind me of the Black woman, since we are celebrating Black History Month. I've got one called "She Got No Rhythm." It's just about, I guess we could say, a Black woman who is struggling with life's issues, but still she just keeps going. Let's go. She got no rhythm. She's got no rhythm for the Black man who tells her, "I got you, bae." What she wishes you had was 2 pennies in your pocket that rubbed together like good Black magic and fed this hungry child sucking at the breast of disappointment, forgotten promises, and passed down deadlines of rent due, please. She got no rhythm for coming to school and sitting on a playground bench because they say her youngest son is acting like a fool, and that's just not cool. But what they just don't know is there's not enough of her to go around. She's busy stretching a dollar and putting bread and butter on the table to have paid attention to when her life became so unstable. She got no rhythm for any of all those struggles have gotten her down. She's lost her crown, and the world forgot she was a queen without a kingdom. Just unpaid bills and not enough meals to feed empty bellies of those she gave birth to. She's got fears that go way beyond her years. She's cried plenty of tears because she's left empty without rhythm. That's the end. She's got no rhythm. She's got no rhyme.
Mm.
Wow, I like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Does Queenie have anything?
She always tells me she's gonna read something, but she doesn't.
No, ma'am, I don't have anything.
Oh,
Mm.
well, I'll do this one I did at the museum on Sunday.
Oh, good. Okay.
I did have it. I did do it when I had it memorized, but I did it in my church last Sunday. And when I told you I had taken that pain pill and everything left me. But anyway, I'll do it. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. Oh, freedom over me. I had to reason this out in my mind. There was one or two things I had a right to: liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. No man shall take me alive. I was going to fight for my liberty as long as my strength lasted. And when the time come for me to go, the good Lord was going to take me. Once I was in the North, I asked myself, how did freedom feel? I looked down at my hands to see if I was the same person now that I was free. There was such a glory over everything. The sun shone like gold through the leaves of the tree. Freedom felt so good to me. I returned to the South to free more slaves. They came out of the swamps, from the thick woods, wet, cold, and bone weary. I brought out my brother and my sisters and my aging parents. I brought out babies. And if a baby whimpered, I'd pour opium down his throat. A man told me he was sick and tired and hungry, and he wasn't gonna go no further. I cracked my pistol and said, dead niggas don't tell no tales. You either go on or you die. He went. I was known as the Black Moses of my people. Harriet Tubman, conductor of the Underground Railroad, was born in 1820 or 1821 in Dorchester County, Maryland. Born Aramina Ross, and she died March the 10th, 1913 in Albany, New York. Short, tough, Black, and luminous as the night, she opposed the slave system from her birth and ran away from her bondage when she was about 25 years of age. She was an abolitionist, a social activist. Tubman was never caught, and she never lost a passenger during the Underground Railroad passage. So yeah, that's, I wrote this. When did I write this? Well, I updated it, I guess. I thought I had a date on here because I hate to put things down without putting dates on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go back and say, oh, when did I do that? But yeah.
That was really good, Nan. I
Well,
really
yeah.
enjoyed it. Once again, it was a whole picture. It was an
Yeah,
entire picture. Yeah.
they had a lot of different scenarios of Harriet Tubman, as you probably seen,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah,
was a
that
tough
was really
lady.
good. Yeah. I don't know. I like to remember her as Minty.
Minty, that was one of her names.
Yeah, Minty or Armita.
Oh, okay.
Minty.
Yeah,
A lot
there's
of
a
people
lot of,
don't know that was her real name was
yeah,
not Harriet Tubman.
yeah.
Beautifully done.
Well,
And
she married, she was married twice. She married her first
Mhm.
husband, and then I think the other one was John Tubman. Yeah,
yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, he
That's
wouldn't go, he wouldn't run away with her because he was too scared or something. But,
Now there is an amazing narrative of never being caught. And she was not a big woman. She was a tiny little woman. They
right,
say
yes,
like maybe 5'2" and very petite.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But guess who I see over there? Dr. Dan, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How about yourself?
Good, good. We're glad you can make it. Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to share? We
Sure.
hope
I'd be
you
more
do.
than happy to.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I mean, I just got finished doing this one. So, well, not I guess what the title of this one is Game Show Favorites. I just got finished watching the two earlier, so here they are. 5 nights a week, I do something special for about an hour at each sitting. Enjoying my two most favorite game shows qualifies as a matter most fitting. The two game shows that I view with much favor occur between 7 and 8 p.m. Their names, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy! Yes, most engaging are the both of them. Wheel of Fortune is the first show I watch, with hosts Pat Sajak and Vanna White. Contestants spin the wheel and guess letters to word puzzles that are a sure delight. Players on Wheel can win different prizes, cash, vacations, and other merchandise, dodging bankrupts to reach the bonus round, thus setting up a winner-take-all. Nice. Jeopardy! Is a more challenging game show, now with a variety of guest hosts, yet the late Alex Trebek still remains one whom fans will hold in their hearts the most. In Jeopardy! Contestants stay engaged per a plethora of categories, answering topics in question form with daily doubles placed in their stories. At the end of each Jeopardy! Game show, most participate in the final round, yet some do not get to take this last step if there are no cash balances abound. Those who win the game of Jeopardy! Get to stay on as champions of such. They get to defend for one or more rounds. Some have appeared extensively, so much. Game shows Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy! Involve different skill sets, that's for sure. I'll always be a fan to both of them, to continue a pleasure just so pure.
Wow.
So those are your two favorite shows. That's why you don't come on till after 8
Yeah.
every Friday. You watch
I was gonna say, well, you just got finished watching the
Right.
game shows. Yeah, and Dr. Dan, I bet you know probably all the questions, especially on Jeopardy. Do you play a lot?
Well, actually, not all, but only. I mean, initially I did when the show, I guess when the show first began, but with Alex Trebek as the host. But lately, these things have become a lot more difficult.
Oh.
quite a bit more difficult. I mean, the categories even show up to be obscure sometimes. I mean, I see a category, I said, never heard of that one before. So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or it's stuff I haven't seen since maybe high school or even elementary school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering how old what subject they brought up that you couldn't know or something because, yeah, I was wondering how old the material was or whatever.
Yeah, I used to like Jeopardy. I don't know. I haven't watched a game show in a while. Those were I have to agree, Dr. Dan, if if I had to rate game shows, I think those would have been two of my favorite too. Yeah, especially Jeopardy. You know, like I guess I'm full of erroneous facts that I could probably utilize on a game show, you know? And I think about
Yeah,
all the
perhaps
stuff.
so. And now these days they have I guess both of them have their celebrity versions as well.
Yeah.
So those things are actually played they're played possibly on weekends in the evening. So
Yeah.
so
But
they've some new territory there.
but think of all the stuff that you know that if you put it in categories that you could go on a game show. And I always thought that was fascinating. It's like for somebody.
Or you could also use it well, as I did with the game shows themselves, use it to write poetry.
Yeah, that's true. But they come up with all those questions for a game show, you know? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely research on that.
Yeah. But I agree. I liked Alec Trebek. Yeah. Now the one game show is funny that you say game shows, that this is not necessarily a game show. But I remember when my mother was alive, she absolutely loved Let's Make a Deal.
Oh, that's
a game show.
Sometimes.
That's a game show.
Well, I mean, I just never thought of it as a game show because it just, I don't know. And I guess it is a game show.
Yeah,
but
win money.
yeah, you did. But that was her favorite game show, I guess. And I always thought that one, and you remember, there was another one. These are early game shows.
Like
No, it
for
wasn't.
example.
No, this was not a game show. This was more of a talent show. Remember the Gong Show? Anybody remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Remember that? Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was kind of like the earlier version of America's Idols.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, but
Yeah.
it was more comedic in nature, I guess.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I can't remember the host on there, but those were two of the shows that my mom, when she came to live with me here in Harrisburg, she would watch those every day. When you know how to have something in repeat where you could just watch it over and over again.
Well, actually, there's a whole network. Because I think it's a game show network that show might be part of it as well. Might be on there as well because it's the old stuff like Match Game and all that stuff. I remember as a kid. I remember seeing them. So that stuff's shown on Game Show Network. So who knows? Maybe the Gong Show's in there too.
Probably, yeah. But I don't know, the old show that I just saw on Me TV, I think, the one that I used to love was Columbo.
Oh, they talked about that today.
One of the mystery ones, I remember him, yeah. Peter Falk, yeah, I remember him.
I just love Columbo. I still do. It's like every now and then I'll catch a good Columbo. I just thought he was like the best. Him and anybody remember Kojak?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those were my favorites. Yeah. I'm probably dating myself, but yeah, I like those too.
The show that my mother watched all the time was Lawrence Welk. I remember that so well. She loved that show with Lawrence Welk, them dancing around or something.
Bubbles.
Huh?
Bubbles. He was famous for the Bubbles.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, my mother used to watch that one too. But it's funny, like you're talking to somebody who's like maybe 10 to 20 years younger than you are, and you'll say something and they don't. They're like, huh? Today I had a conversation with some high school students, and you know how everybody's age group that are the younger people have like the Gen X, the baby boomers, the Gen X. I can't remember some of the other names. Well, the newest one, everybody want to know what the newest one is?
What is it?
Gen Z.
Gen
Z.
Well, there's Gen Z, but there's a new one now, Dr. Dan. It's the
Another one after Gen Z?
There's a new one. It's it's the Beta. The Gen Beta, I think the kids were telling me. Beta is the new one.
When was that generation born?
I think this one starts at 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't have a clue.
like every generation or every age group, like you got a certain group, like within a 10-year, maybe a 10-year span, they come up with a new like category for them. And I was in with the 9th graders today, and they were talking about the beta group. There's an out there, they were asking, is the next group going to be the alpha group? I'm like, I don't know. I'm a baby boomer, so I don't even know.
Know what they talk about.
Yeah, so that's the new group, is the Gen Betas, I think they said. I don't know, but it's beta something. I was like, oh no, what's next? I said, so how do you go on? There's a website you go onto, and it classifies each of these groups. I thought, oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yep, I'm definitely an X.
You're an X?
Yes.
Oh wow. No, I'm a baby boomer.
I thought I was a baby boomer.
Well, I'm at the very tail end of the baby boomers. I was surprised.
Oh,
And I'm at the very beginning of the X's.
Oh, yeah, you're at the beginning of the X's. I'm at the very end of the baby boomers.
yeah. On Thursday, I was over at Scott School for their Black History program. Dara Brown.
Oh, uh-huh.
She put on I don't know how she deals with them kids, but they had kindergartners, 4th and 5th grades. They did a wonderful job. They did poetry. They wrote their own poems, and they did a hip hop, and they did the rap music and stuff, and they were good when they were good when they got up to perform, but they couldn't sit still or something. They were running around. I was looking this way and looking. I said, I wonder if Dara has high blood pressure, but they said she didn't. Fooling with them kids, because I can't do it no more. I volunteered 10 years at Melrose with us 1st and 2nd grade with Miss Sherrick. I used to help her out in the class, and then I went in the cafeteria and I helped them out in there, but that was too much for me. It got to be too much. I said, oh, it's time for me to go, or I'm going to go to jail or something. Because those kids was working me, I tell you. But anyway, yeah, they put on a beautiful program, Black History program.
Oh gosh.
So
Yeah.
Nate ought to hear him. He ought to hear him. He might have. I don't even know.
And they were doing poetry too?
Oh yeah. Yep.
What age group were doing the poetry?
I think they were like 4th and 5th graders.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. It was good.
We have ours Tuesday, and I can't wait to see what they came up with.
Oh, you work in the school?
Yeah, I work in a high school.
Oh, okay. And they're doing their own, writing their own stuff.
I don't know. I haven't been to work in a week, so I'm excited to see what's going to take place.
What school is this?
In South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I missed a lot of the African American history shows that they did with the schools, and then they had some really great documentaries on Netflix.
Well, I guess it is up to the teachers, the Black teachers, to bring it out of them, and work with them and, present that stuff, because, they're trying to take the Black history out of the schools.
Yeah.
It's a Black English teacher that's took over the program.
Great.
So I'm excited to see what he represented us, all the African Americans at the school. He did a slideshow for us. They announced did a staff spotlight every Wednesday and read our bios, and then they did like a little box. They made like little cereal boxes with our last names and decorated them, put our picture on it, and kids can put notes down in the boxes, and they bring them to our classroom this Tuesday so we can read the notes kids have written during the month of February. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, creative. Yep. Nice.
I remember being at Central Dauphin and being the only Black teacher in the building, and all the kids would come to me and say, "What are we doing for Black History Month?" I'm like, "How did I get this charge? But okay, let's see what we're doing."
Yeah,
And I would always let the kids come up with what they wanted to do, because if I let them come up with it, more than likely they would, because it was their idea, they would take
right.
charge of it.
And
And I would just advise and get things approved by the principal. But I think that is part of our struggle, is that our history is not readily taught in schools, and our kids are losing it. They're not really receptive to hearing about something that happened in the past, because they don't believe it relates to what's happening in the future and now.
yeah. And still I see articles on a Black history person that I never even heard of, or, that what they did. So yeah, it's still coming out. We're amazing people. We are really. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I hope that our next generation realizes, unless they know where they have come from, it'll be hard to travel to where they're going. It will be. But
Yeah.
that's because we are all history buffs here. We like history.
I didn't like it when I was in school. I liked English and I couldn't do math.
Oh, it's funny. I was subbing today, covering a class today in the math classroom, and I forgot how much math I forgot.
Oh,
I was sitting there looking at the worksheet that the kids were doing, and I used to teach geometry and basic algebra, and it was like I haven't taught math in I don't really know how long, and I was looking at their papers, and I was like, okay, I used to remember how to do this.
yeah.
It would take
It's
me
complicated.
again, but I would have to sit down and actually work out the problem. I would have to remember how to do it.
Mm.
Yeah. So I thought, man, memory is another thing that's like, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was out. What day was that? I was out with I don't know, Chat Sloan. He's in town. He's a Pettis. I don't know if you know that family, but anyway, Chat was in the Army and service guy, but he's here for the weekend. I think he's leaving Sunday. So he got a few of his classmates to call around and see how many people could make it out to Peachtree. We were out on Peachtree on, I think it was Tuesday. Yeah. At 1:00. And they all graduated like in the late 50s and 60s. So they're pretty much up there, like in their 80s and stuff. And I mean, a lot of them came in. They talked about the aches and their pains, what they could remember, what they couldn't remember, who was still around, who was gone. But it was just it was interesting to see these people that, I mean, I knew them. They were maybe a little ahead of me. I was there because Chat was married. I was married to Chat's cousin, Frank. My ex had passed away, but his twin brother was there. So it was all a lot of family. The Wrights, I don't know if the Wrights, Jenny Lawson, and just a lot of people from Harrisburg back in the day that lived on the hill. Talked about the hill and wonder where people were now, and just so interesting, really interesting. A couple of the people was getting a little dementia and all this stuff, but yeah, just we just reminisced about the projects and the hill and John Harris and the schools, the sports. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed, oh gosh, I guess this was maybe about 2 months ago, right when Kirk Smallwood was getting ready to retire.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the basketball coach for I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
It's funny because I know they awarded him the key to the city, just for all his contributions to the high school.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, and I couldn't get a hold of him, so I emailed him the questions and he sent them back to me. And I wasn't sure because sometimes they can't publish everything depending on how many stories they get. I don't think they published his story, but I sent it to him and I said to him about, we used to teach right across the hallway from each other. And I said to him about, having the opportunity to have known you as a young, we were both very young, a young teacher, and how, you see people who have done so much in our little town of Harrisburg.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Well, they should have a story somewhere. I mean, they have the Berg. They could put it
yeah,
in
well,
there.
I know there were a couple different newspapers that wrote it up, but it all depends with writing for the Black Wall Street if they have enough room, and we submit these stories almost a month ahead of time.
Oh,
And the editor had just reached out to me and said, can you get a hold of Kurt Smallwood and do a story? So I don't know if they published it, but I couldn't find it in the issue that I had written it to go into. So I don't know. So I sent him the article and he was just, so humble and saying, thank you so much for even considering me. But
mhm.
yeah, I think about like our local Harrisburg heroes, it takes a lot. And I remember, because like I said, we taught it right across from each other, and that's probably almost 20 years ago. And
Mhm.
thinking about how it was difficult, it was really difficult teaching kids who were struggling with so many issues. So yeah, so there's a lot of, for the month of February, and that's what I was writing about, is like, we think of our traditional African American heroes as, the Harriet Tubmans, the Rosa Parks, the, Malcolm X and Dr. King, but there's some American heroes right in our own midst of the modern day American hero or African American hero. Yeah.
Well, Caleb Jackson, I mean, he has lots of stories in history that he was at the museum on Sunday. And he was one of the people that Nate honored.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That's what made me think of that. It's like all the people are doing amazing things, and it doesn't just have to be in Harrisburg, but in any city. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat. Yeah, let's see. We are at 8:39. Maybe what we can do is, as Reverend Gadsden says, a round table, and then we can have Reverend Thomas and show us is that your last video, Reverend Thomas?
I believe there's two more.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to get on, because just like Reverend Gadsden says, we always want to make sure we utilize all your videos. So go ahead and show us the next one.
I heard footsteps from heaven today that broke the silence. The sound somehow gave me peace, and vibrations high like a unified church choir or an Afrobeat bass line. I heard footsteps steady and on pace, breaking wind like balled up fists every step of the way. I heard Ahmad running in heaven today, and I somehow felt at peace, knowing there would be no police or systemic hurdles to obscure his way. Go ahead. Go ahead and run. Go ahead and run, Ahmad. Run, Ahmad. At the 2-mile line, I heard Ahmad racing with God. He sounded light on his feet without having to carry the weight of white supremacy. I heard he and God laughing and panting in the thunder. Their feet shook the clouds and Mother Nature cried out loud for better days. Ahmad, I heard your footsteps in heaven today. I imagined you were walking with Trayvon. He introduced you to Mike Brown. How sweet the sound of this black boy joy. How I wish you could have had more here first life. I heard heavy-footed grandmamas marching in heaven in the late night, singing hymns about mercy and how the weak shall inherit, wearing cloud-shaped white wings with George Floyd pictured on their t-shirts. They stood with his mama calling him home till he answered heaven's footsteps, unified like a church choir stomp. Yesterday he was a victim, today he's with God. Heaven is full of black potential untapped, diamond before the bloom, treasure still in rough, gone home before dinner but welcomed home in love. Grand gestured parade down gallant gold roads, angels line the cloud welcoming George Floyd home, welcoming Breonna Taylor home, welcoming Tamir Rice, welcoming Eric Garner home. Melanin grows on trees at these longitude degrees. Welcome to heaven, Breonna Taylor, where you could sleep in peace and be black unapologetically, without cringe, without fear, no judgment attached. One love, one hallelujah, one prayer, one freedom song, one equality for all. If not here on earth, heaven's angels rejoice when black lives make it home. If not here on earth, heaven's angels rejoice when black lives make it home.
And Black
Yeah, now
Lives.
that's different.
Yeah, and sad. So
Mhm.
sad.
Exactly why it's different, that for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but we always we seem to keep adding to that list, which is the sad part. Yeah. It was
But
a
now
good
it seems to me, I mean, with the shootings and stuff now, I'm thinking it seems to be a lot of black men, coming out. I don't know if it's the mental health or what it is, why they're shooting up people and stuff. It's just crazy.
I don't know. I guess I just look at it as like our world has got to a point where, I mean, color does have an effect on what's happening, but it's just happening to,
It's evil. Yeah.
yeah, it's just happening in general. And I think some things we have to get beyond the whole race thing and just realize that people have lost their center, and it's just happening.
Yep. And God is the center, but a lot of people are turning away from God.
Yeah,
And
lost their center, and they're not really focusing on the right versus the wrong of anything.
yeah,
I don't know, but that was a good poem.
devil was busy.
Well, we're at 8:45. Nan, do you have anything? We'll do round robin, as Reverend Gadsden calls it. We'll
Well,
start.
I can do this poem by Doris Washington that she gave me this at the museum. This is one of her new poems or one her new readings or something. And it's God's enduring love. There'll be a day full of clouds in the sky, and there'll be days the cloud sunshine so beautiful. And for every moment we have each day, we can be thankful. Life has its challenges, its joys, and in the wake of each new day, we can find peace within. And as we endure and find strength for the day, as we hold on to faith, there's always hope to see us through any storm. There's always God's enduring love. That was one of her poems. She handed it to me. So I had it in my pile of stuff.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked about the enduring love.
God's enduring love. Yep.
Huh. Well, I'll do one and then you can let Dr. Dan do one and then we'll see the video. By that time, I think we'll be to the end of our time together. I know, I just realized I have some that I in the back of my little book that I haven't read in a while. I'll
Oh,
read this one in short. It's called Trickling Dreams. Those trickling thoughts pour through your mind and gather at the door of doubt and failure to find the fortitude to believe in the unseen, the what ifs, the just because, and the I'm not sure's. Doubt is like a dripping faucet. If you let it continue, you have a flood of never dids and undreamt dreams that manifest themselves to be left at the feet of the wound of the dreamer. Don't let them put a stop to your wondering moments. Keep them at the forefront of your to-do list. But don't put off that today for tomorrow. Its promise is not always kept. Be diligent in your cause. Keep your shoulders to the plow and let your eyes focus on the journey ahead. Find your why and stop asking when. Now's the time to let those trickling thoughts pour.
all right. We had somebody new joined us.
Oh, who came?
My name is Patricia Saunders. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, Patricia. Were you here before?
This is my first time coming.
Thank you for coming. Hi.
Are you friends with
Miss
Queenie?
Miss Queenie invited me.
Oh my, thank you, Queenie. We can always depend on her hospitality to find us a new face. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, we have one more video that Reverend Thomas is going to show us. We'll let him show the video. And if you have something to share, you're immediately after that, because we always want to make sure his videos get up there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
I know that we can unify. All it will take is you and I, you and I, you and I. Yeah, I know that we can unify. All it will take is you and I, you and I, you and I.
I heard God only made people whole. Liberty and justice was promised for every soul. But when they signed that Declaration of Independence, they only meant it for most. Everybody wasn't the goal. Absurd. Most disrespect I ever heard. It's sad because love is not just a word, it's a verb. So while y'all just watch, we're fighting for equality. Some of y'all still don't think we deserve, but hold. Before you start to resent those facts, and before you tune me out because our skin don't match, I'm Christian and black. No, that's not a fiction, it's fact. Souls made by the same God, but our skin is intact. Which means, don't look down because my shade don't look right. What you think that heaven's gonna look like? If everybody's the same, we not coming in. That means we're still kin, because we're still one in him. So if that's the case, if that's what went on, how do y'all stay quiet when they doing us harm? See, people here are hurting, but people don't here are hurting. You say that we are one, we're missing a million churches. Where's the rest of our allies fighting with us for justice? When they shoot your black brothers after they cuff them, you can't feel unified when you're ignored. Let's take, for example, what happened to George Floyd. He said he couldn't breathe. Y'all ignored the sound. 3 other officers held him to the ground. He pleaded for his life instead of making it stop. Some turned away and others just watched. The sad thing about it, and I saw this on the internet, a lot of y'all said Kaepernick's knee was disrespect. Y'all were more outraged by the knee he took than the one the cop had on George's neck. Now see, there's the divide. Don't tell me that you're my brother if you can watch me die. Don't say that we're both Christian and you just sit quiet. Hard to think that you and I serve the same God, cause if our God is love, don't love interrupt, don't love intervene. Like enough is enough, this can't stay like that. Even Jesus turned tables like a DJ, but you don't wanna play that back. A lot of us are mad cause we haven't found hope yet. Most of us are tired and past praise and protest. Don't tell us about looting when you don't have a solution. No, I don't condone it, but what you want us to do when we've been marching since Martin? Still no progress, still not equal. Ask us if we tired yet, we been peaceful. And a lot of y'all say, well, just do what Dr. King did. But Dr. King's dead. Because they shot him, remember? Even when he was non-violent, remember? So even though you don't have guns that's aimed at us, when you do nothing, it still feels the same to us. You make one post, then all you forget. It's crazy. You don't think God is calling you yet? I know this is a lot, and you get tired of seeing the news. Well, we're tired of being the news. United we stand, divided we fall. Nothing's gonna change unless y'all broken like we are. And yeah, God is with us, that's not at all new. But it'd be nice if you act like you are too. Cause change never happens when the people are complacent. You really wanna know how to change the situation? You're gonna laugh, this answer is so basic. Just start by having a conversation. Tell your mom he's not a threat cause he dark. Check a crazy uncle for his racist remarks. Call the sheriff up, tell him the country had enough. One nation under God, make America that for once. I know we can be one, how about you? But time is of the essence and justice is about due. Cause just as cliche as it is, it's still true. We can't spell unity without you.
All right.
That was nice. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Excellent. It all counts.
Well, we have about 8 minutes left. So why don't we get Patricia? Thank you for joining us. What would you like to share?
So I wrote a book of poetry and it was called Through the Fire. And I wrote it immediately after my mother had passed. She was an ordained minister. And I call this piece Church Lady.
Oh, okay.
So during the week, you woke early, kissed your babies bye and walked to their homes. You put on your apron and you got on your knees and you washed their floors. You were there to make breakfast and dinner for their kids, cleaned every window spotless so they could look at their beautiful lawns, tried to make the ends meet, but always prayed for better. Never spoke back and used the back door. Took your place and sometimes worked for under minimum wage. But on Sunday, the church lady arose to go and give praise and worship. Placed her large hat on her crown, placed on your Sunday best, placed your delicate feet in your heels, gathered your children to go to your sanctuary. Fell to your knees and gave thanks for making it through the trials and tribulations. Church lady, you sat on your special pew, nodding to others. When the Spirit hit, you danced around the church, knew your Bible backwards and forward because you are a church lady. Church lady will pray you well. Church lady will make you a cake. Church lady will be at every funeral. Church lady will see a better day.
Wow. That's a nice tribute to your mother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really good. It does, those words brought back memories.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. How about we end the night? We got 5 minutes. Dr. Dan, you have something that you can share so we can end our night and
Yes.
Still there?
That
Oh, there
one.
you go. Okay.
It's at the crossroads is the poem's name, and uncertainty is king at the crossroads. When everyone's next move just isn't known, all direction, logic, and common sense appear to be fully overthrown. Facing the crossroads is no easy task, since humanity likes to know what comes next. Yet when times start becoming nebulous, the roads can leave many quite perplexed. Managing the crossroads takes extreme tact. embellished with the guidance of fortitude. Ultimately, an opening comes forth. The main driving force is one's attitude. Therefore, the crossroads can be overcome with proper mindsets remaining intact. Belief that much better times are ahead must be accepted completely as fact.
Very good, Dan.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Very good. Very good. I've just enjoyed the conversation. We talked about a variety of things, but it was good talking to all of you. Yeah, and Patricia, we hope you come back. Usually our host is Reverend Gadsden, and his wife was in the hospital, so he's not here with us tonight. But prayerfully, he will be back next Friday, and we are usually here on Zoom from 7 to 9, and also Facebook Live with our infamous Reverend Chris Thomas. So we would like to thank you also for all you do for the Writers Wordshop.
Yep,
and
thank you,
sharing
Chris.
all these amazing videos for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ro, do you know the Delta's having their Black History, what is it, Black History thing tomorrow at Scottish, right? Yeah, at the Scottish Center.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll be at the elementary school over at Stilton. They the AKAs are doing their African American read-in.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be over there tomorrow morning as a book vendor, and then I'll be reading my children's book.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so it's been it's been a long week, but I am looking forward to a relaxing weekend. And I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. We're at the end of our Black History Month, so hopefully we can all get in 1 or 2 more events and enjoy we say we celebrate Black history every day of the week, but for the official Black History Month, I hope we can all enjoy 1 or 2 more events.
Yes.
Everybody has an amazing weekend, and with it be God's will, we will see you here, same place, same time, same Zoom channel.
Well, thank you for being the host tonight.
Thank you.
Fine job.
Thank you.
Find the pictures.
I will be praying for Nate and his wife also.